Okay, so we've covered place value of decimals and we've covered rounding. So now we need to go over comparing and ordering decimals. The first thing we have is comparing decimals. And the first thing you do is line up the decimal. Okay, and you're going to line them up vertically. Now, when you're lining up the decimals, you also have to make sure you line up the whole numbers. Everything needs to line up in perfect order, okay? After you lined up everything, you're going to fill in all the holes with a 0. Okay, and that's just to give it a nice, neat, clean look. And we'll do examples in a second. Then you're going to compare the numbers from left to right. All right, and then you're going to focus on the vocabulary. You've got the L, the sideways L, that means less than. You have this symbol that means greater than. And of course, your equal sign means equal. Remember that I hate to hear it, but the mouth opens to the bigger number. That means it's pointing to the smaller number. Okay, it's always pointing to the smaller number. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples. All right, so if we have these two numbers, and I'm saying 5.432, and then this is going to be my greater than, less than, or equal to 5.433. First thing we have to do is line the numbers up vertically. So I'm going to take this number and I'm going to push it over here so that I can line them up and compare them. So 5.432. I don't have any holes to fill in, so now I'm just going to compare them from left to right. 5 and 5 are the same. Decimals are lined up. 4 and 4 are the same. 3 and 3 are the same. 3 and 2 are not the same. 3 is bigger. So my symbol is less than. That means 5 and 432 thousandths is less than 5 and 433 thousandths. Okay? All right? Look at this number. We're going to take it and we're going to push it over here. It says 0.1.410. So I'm going to fill in this hole with a 0. And then decimals are lined up, place values are lined up. So I'm going to compare from left to right. 0, 0, 1, 1. Decimals are lined up. 4, 4, 1, 1, 1, 0. 1 is bigger. So this one is also less than. Okay? Okay, let's look at these numbers. Okay, so I'm going to compare greater than, less than, or equal to. I'm going to take this whole number and I'm going to push it over here. I need to make sure that everything is lined up. So 5, 4, 3, 2, decimal, 7, 7. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions is everybody thinks that this number is bigger because it has 3 digits behind the decimal. But that sometimes is just simply not true. Sometimes it can be, but you have to check it. So the rule is line the decimals up, as well as the place values. Fill in any holes. So I'm going to fill in a hole here. Okay, with a 0. And then we're going to compare from the left to right. So when I compare them, I see 5 and 5 are the same. 4 and 4, 3 and 3, 2 and 2. Decimals are both lined up. 7 and 7, 6 and 7. 7 is actually bigger. So this would be my answer. Okay? Because 770 is more than 764. Okay? You need to just slow down, line the numbers up, and compare from left to right. Okay? So one last one. 9 and 76 hundredths. We're going to take it and we're going to push it over to this underneath. I'm going to put 9.76. I'm going to fill in this hole with a 0. Now, everything's all nice and neat. This is what I meant by it's all boxed in. Look at it. Everything's perfect. So, 9 and 9 are the same. Decimals are lined up. 8 and 7 are not the same. 8 is bigger. So this one would be less than. 9 and 76 hundredths is less than 9 8/10, or in this case, 80 hundredths. Okay? All right, let's look at some ordering. Yeah, ordering decimals. Okay, when you're ordering decimals, it's pretty much the same thing. You're going to line up the decimals vertically. You're going to fill in the holes with zeros. You're going to compare from left to right. And then you're going to order from, oh, it got cut off. So you're going to order from either least to greatest, which means the smallest number to the biggest number, or greatest to least, which means the biggest number to the smallest number. So it's either going to be L to G, least to greatest, or G to L, greatest to least. Okay? So let's look at a couple examples for ordering decimals. Okay, so ordering decimals, you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to line up the decimals vertically. So here are my 4 numbers. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to write them as is. 5.74. There's a decimal there. 5.7. 5.7. Oops, sorry. 743. 743. 5.732. So there's my numbers. And we want them to be able to be fit in this nice, pretty little box, right? So I have 3 digits on these bottom 2 numbers. So I need to fill in these holes with zeros. Okay? So now, we're going to compare from the left side. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. They're all the same. Decimals are all the same. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. They're all the same. So now we have to look at the tenths place. We have 4, 0, 4, 3. In this case, let's say we're going to go least to greatest. So that means this 0 is going to be first. 4, 4, and 3. 3 is going to come before 4, so that's going to be second. All right, so now I have 2 4s. So I have 40 and I have 43. 40 is going to come before 43. So now I'm going to rewrite my answer. 5.7, 5.732, 5.74, 5.743. On the assignment, when you go to rewrite them, make sure you take these zeros back out, okay? The zeros are just simply placeholders for you to get, make sure you're putting them in the right order. So this would be my answer, okay, from least to greatest. Okay, so let's do one more. So here are my 4 numbers. So I'm going to write them down. 10.47, 10.473. 10 is a whole number. Okay, when there's no decimal, the 0 is understood. When there's no decimal, the decimal is understood to be at the end of the number. So in the number 10, the decimal comes right behind it. Okay, when there's no decimal, the decimal is understood to be at the end. And then 10.264. We're going to now draw our box. We're going to fill in our holes. And this one we're going to go greatest to least. So 10, 10, 10, 10. We know that. Decimals are all lined up. 4, 4, 0, or 2. Biggest thing is 4. So there's 2 of them. 47 and 47. Well, they're both the same. So now I have to take the third digit. 470, 400, which is 470, or 473, which is 473. 473 would be greatest, meaning 470 is next to greatest. Okay, then what is greatest? 0 or 2? In this case, it would be 2, and the 0 would be 4. Okay, so after we've done that, we write our answers. 10.473. 10.47. Notice I dropped the 0 out. Third is 10.264. And the last one is just 10. Okay. Remember, when no zero or when no decimal is behind a whole number or within a whole number, then the decimal is automatically at the end. Okay. When there is no decimal on a number, it is understood to come at the end. Okay. When a number does not have a decimal. Oops. When a number does not have a decimal, it is understood to be at the end. So, for example, if I have the number 436, the decimal is at the end. 436 decimal 0. Okay, the number 54,426, the decimal is at the end. Okay, when a number does not have a decimal, it is understood to be at the very end of the number, because up until that point, all of these numbers are whole numbers. Okay, so a decimal is like a period in a sentence. The dog is black, period. 4,246, period. Okay, this is a number sentence, basically. Okay, 4,246, period. So that's where your decimal would go. Okay, so order of operations, not order of operations, ordering and comparing decimals. You line up the decimal, fill in the holes with zeros, compare from left to right. When you compare, you give it a symbol, greater than, less than, or equal to. When you order, you put it in a place, first, second, third, or fourth. Okay, when you're ordering decimals, it'll either be from least to greatest or greatest to least. On the assignment you have today, don't add the zeros. Okay, put the number as you see it on the screen. Also, the assignment won't drop until 9 o'clock every single day. The videos will post at 8. The assignments will post at 9.